Ladies and gentlemen, distinguished guests, mesdames et messieurs, distingués invités. Good evening, bonsoir. My name is Stuart Wheeler. I'm the Chief of Protocol of Canada. Merci d'être parmi nous ce soir. Thank you for being with us tonight. Please join me now in welcoming the Right Honourable Justin Trudeau, Prime Minister of Canada, and Her Excellency Ursula von der Leyen, President of the European Commission. Veuillez accueillir le très honorable Justin Trudeau, Premier ministre du Canada, et son Excellence Madame Ursula von der Leyen, Présidente de la Commission européenne. Before we begin, I'd like to acknowledge that we are on the traditional and unceded territory of the Algonquin Anishinaabe people. Je tiens à souligner que nous sommes ce soir sur le territoire traditionnel et non cédé du peuple algonquin Anishinaabe. We pay respect to their elders, past, present, and emerging. J'ai maintenant le grand plaisir d'accueillir le Premier ministre du Canada à offrir un mot de bienvenue. Prime Minister, over to you for welcome remarks.
Merci Stuart. Bonsoir tout le monde. C'est un grand plaisir et un honneur de recevoir au Canada la présidente de la Commission européenne, mon amie Ursula von der Leyen. Canada's relationship with the European Union is based on shared values, a long history of close cooperation, and on strong ties between our people. Let's start with shared values. We share values like democracy, freedom, and peace. President von der Leyen, you continue to be there to defend these values for Ukraine, for Europe, and for the whole world. Earlier today in Kingston, we had the chance to meet with some of the brave members of the Canadian Armed Forces who are also dedicated to defending these values. I announced new measures to support Ukrainians in their ongoing fight against Putin's brutal invasion. I said it a year ago when I visited Campadazzi in Latvia, where Canada leads a NATO battle group. And I said it again earlier today. Canada will continue to stand shoulder to shoulder with our European partners for Ukraine, with whatever it takes, as long as it takes. This evening, I also want to underline our long history of close cooperation with Europe. Je suis certain que plusieurs gens d'affaires ici ce soir le savent, mais l'Union européenne est le deuxième partenaire commercial mondial du Canada pour les biens et services et le deuxième partenaire pour les investissements directs après les États-Unis. Le commerce de marchandises entre le Canada et l'Union européenne a augmenté de 66% au cours des années qui ont suivi l'application de l'accord économique et commercial global entre le Canada et l'Union européenne. On est donc très heureux de recevoir la présidente von der Leyen aujourd'hui pour continuer à renforcer nos liens économiques afin de créer des bons emplois pour la classe moyenne des deux côtés de l'Atlantique. Energy security in Europe also remains a common objective as Russia continues to use energy as a political and economic weapon. That's why today, among other things, we announced the launch of the new Canada-EU Enhanced Action Plan on Hydrogen that will mobilize investments, support businesses, share expertise, and get clean Canadian hydrogen to Europe. Stephen Guilbeault really likes that one. Of course, last but not least, I also want to say a few words about the strong ties between our people. Many Canadians have family and friends in Europe. As you know, Canada is a country where we celebrate our diversity. And this includes celebrating the immense contributions of people who arrived, whether it be weeks ago, decades ago, or centuries ago, from Germany, Italy, Greece, Ireland, Portugal, Poland, the Netherlands, and so many other places in Europe who now call Canada home. partage aussi l'héritage de notre langue française avec l'Europe. Quand on pense à notre culture, quand on regarde nos architectures ou les rues en pierre dans certaines de nos villes, on voit bien qu'une partie de l'histoire du Canada et de l'Europe est liée. President von der Leyen, Ursula, my friend, let's continue our work together to build a better future for all Canadians and all Europeans. A future powered by clean energy and strong economic growth, a future where we fight climate change and create good middle-class jobs on both sides of the Atlantic, a future with strong and lasting democratic institutions and where human rights and international law prevail. Merci tout le monde d'être ici. Je veux maintenant lever mon verre à cette amitié unique entre l'Europe et le Canada, à la présidente von der Leyen et à tous les Européens. Thank you. Danke schön. I see some of you have glasses, but some of you have both hands to clap, which we always appreciate as politicians. Merci. And with that, I'm happy to turn it over to Ursula.
Yeah. Thank you so much. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, my friend Justin. Ladies and gentlemen, what a pleasure to be here with you tonight for this reception. I spent a fantastic day already with Justin in Canada. Amazing trips to different regions of the country. I saw very innovative companies, so I had an amazing day, and it's wonderful to end this day here with you with a reception in a war museum. I think being here is also telling. When I think about the topic of a war museum, my first thought is that we have never forgotten as Europeans, and I say this also first and foremost as a European of German nationality, that it were your parents, your grandparents, that liberated us in World War II from the terrors of Nazism and fascism. And this is something which we will never forget, and we will always be grateful for what you and your parents, what grandparents and Canadians did for the European Union. You made sure that liberty and freedom came back to the European Union. You made it possible that we were again a part of democracies, and this is something which laid the foundation of the very strong friendship and bond between us. But this is also something where we will always be grateful for. And unfortunately, these days, when speaking about a war museum, yes, we have again to think about the atrocious Russian war in Ukraine that is terrifying the civil population of Ukraine since a year. And we know today, a year after the beginning of the invasion, that Putin made 3 massive strategic mistakes. The first strategic mistake he did, he thought he would take Kiev within days. He never calculated on the bravery and the resilience of the Ukrainian people. This is amazing, and they stunned the world. The second massive strategic mistake was that Putin thought us, the democracies, we would be weak and shy away and be easily divided. The opposite is the case. We are as determined and as strong as never before. We are united because we know that this war is not only a war of that Ukraine tries to be liberated from the invader and the aggressor, but it's also a war about the principles that either rule the world or the right of might that could rule the world. We know that this is a struggle about, do we respect the international law? Do we uphold the UN Charter? Or is it the aggressor, the autocrats, and the right of might that will rule the world in future? We will never accept that in the 2023, an aggressor is crossing international borders with tanks, missiles and drones and attacking an innocent and completely quiet and respectful people as the Ukrainians are. We will always stand up for Ukraine for as long as it takes, as you said, and we will be determined and united as Western democracies to make sure that the respect for the international law, the respect for the UN Charter is upheld. And the third strategic mistake was that Putin thought he could bring us Europeans down to our knees because of our over-dependency on Russian fossil fuels. The opposite has happened. We have completely diversified away from Russian fossil fuels. We were able to save energy. We were able to diversify away because our friends helped us, our Canadian friends, our American friends, our Norwegian friends, but also because we invested massively in renewable energy. And indeed, renewable energy is not only good for our climate, but it's also good for our independence and our security of supply. And this is one topic. In the wider sense, the clean technologies that we need for not only the renewable energy, but also to fight climate change, that we have been discussing today intensively. And here's the broad spectrum of opportunity, business of opportunities that we have among us. If we look at what the future innovative prosperity and innovative economies will be built on. We are looking not only for the friends that you are, but also for strong partners, for example, in the supply of critical raw materials and many innovations that come from Canada, where we can both, the European Union and Canada, benefit from. So a lot to do together. It's wonderful to be here with you tonight. Thank you very much for receiving me, and I'm looking forward to this reception. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Prime Minister. Merci, Madame la Présidente. Ceci conclut la partie formelle de la soirée. Je vous souhaite une bonne réception. This concludes the formal proceedings of the reception. I wish you all a pleasant evening.